welcome everybody. I'd like to thank you for coming tonight. And those who are watching the live broadcast, I'd like to call the November 16th, 2021 school board meeting of the Parkland School Board to order. And I'd ask our student representative to lead us in the pledge. Everybody please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Before we get to the next agenda item, I just want to remind everybody of our policies for speaking during the remarks for agenda items and non-agenda items. They are governed by two policies and one administrative regulation. Policy 903, 903.1, and administrative regulation 006 AR0. Reading the applicable points of policy 903, public participation shall be permitted at the discretion of the presiding officer on a given issue. The board requires that public participants be district taxpayers or residents. All persons wishing to participate in a public board meeting shall register their intent with the board secretary in advance of the meeting, and on the day of the meeting, all persons wishing to participate shall register their intent on the form obtained at the registration table. Participants must be recognized by the presiding officer and must preface their comments by an announcement of their name and address. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 3 minutes. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. No participant shall address or question board members individually. The presiding officer may interrupt or terminate a participant's statement when the statement is too lengthy, personally directed, abusive, obscene, or irrelevant. Request any individual to leave the meeting when that person does not observe reasonable decorum, and call a recess or an adjournment to another time when the lack of public decorum interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting as to warrant such action. No placards or banners will be permitted within the meeting room without prior approval. The relevant portions of Administrative Regulation 006 AR0 are as follows. The opportunity to speak at a public board meeting is open to all individuals residing in the Parkland School District. All residents wishing to speak at the board meeting must complete the request to address the board school directors form found at the sign-in table. The school board president will call those individuals that request to speak at the appropriate time. Each individual is limited to 3 minutes to address the school board. And for policy 903.1, the relevant portions are the use of electronic recording devices during board meetings. Recording devices such as cameras, cell phones, electronic tablets, tape recorders, and other similar recording devices are permitted at public board meetings under and pursuant to the following rules. Persons must notify the assistant superintendent of his or her intent to use a recording device prior to its use. An individual's right to record will be limited or forfeited if there is a material interference with the ability of board members, administrators, school officials, school employees, and others to participate or observe during a public board meeting. Audio recording devices can be used from an individual's seat or from the location designated by the board president, and video recording devices can be used from locations designated by the board president. Thank you. Moving on to item number 3, special recognition. Pennsylvania School Board Association Honor Roll of School Board Service for Mr. Robert Cohen, Mr. David Kennedy, Mrs. Lisa Roth, and myself. As I am the representative from PSBA tonight for this presentation, I'm going to read the statement here and we'll present some plaques and certificates. I'm here tonight on behalf of the Pennsylvania School Board Association to honor a few school board directors for their years of dedication to Parkland School District. School board service has long been a crucial part of our nation's legacy and its commitment to public education. As the first school board association in the United States, PSBA has a rich history with more than 125 years of service. The consummate school directors are described as ethical, principled individuals with a deep desire to serve. They believe in the value of our public schools and local control of public education for the benefit of all students. Today, school districts are expected to offer more services along with world-class instruction with limited resources. These expectations provide a tremendous challenge for school directors, unpaid volunteers who give of their time to contribute to the schools and the communities they serve. Schools' continued efforts to provide high-quality, continuous education to all students during the pandemic further highlights the key role school directors play in educating our children. For more than 35 years, TSBA has been recognizing the contributions of dedicated local school directors with long-term service. The honor roll is the association's way of thanking those individuals who exemplify leadership by giving unselfishly of their time and talents for the betterment of the public schools serving students across this great colony. It gives me immense pleasure to recognize the following for being part of this rich legacy. And tonight, as I said, we have a plaque here for Mr. Robert Cohen for 24 years of service to the Parkland School District. We have another plaque here for Mr. David Kennedy, also for 24 years of service to the Parkland School District. Certificate of appreciation for Mrs. Lisa Roth for 12 years of service. And then, as I said, one for myself here for 8 years of service on board. Moving on to item number 4, student representative report.
Hello, everybody. So today is November, this month is November, which is really exciting, another month. First off, we're going to start with Kernsville. So Kernsville, you're going to see a lot of costumes throughout this whole presentation, but Kernsville has some costumes, which you can see the teachers dressed up as Where's Waldo, and that's really cute. You could also see the students having some fun in the costumes as well, with my favorite being the Minecraft Bull of Pig costume, which is really cool. I can't believe they do that. And then you have the kids having some fun crafts for Halloween as well, drawing some silly skeletons on the side. For Jandal, we have the teachers at Jandal showed their Halloween spirit as well with some fun costumes. They went all out as well. They did some germ busters, which is my personal favorite, some ABCs highlighting a book that they were reading in the class, and some butterflies. They also did a fort day where they put their nifty skills to action, and they were able to build some really cool forts, which I wish I was able to do that, which that looks like a lot of fun. And then we also have the readathon winners, which won some PTO baskets provided by the PTO. For Parkway Matter, the 5th graders pioneers are engineering their Schooner wagons, which they're using like their STEM building skills, and they look really awesome. And next up we have the fire department, which visited the Parkway Manor students for some fun learning about safety and fire safety at the schools. They also showed their really awesome costumes. And for Veterans Day, Mrs. Moyer's class did a little slideshow which commemorated the soldiers by watching a tribute of a slideshow, and it profiled 10 veterans who are loved ones of the class. And then they talked about the organization called A Million Things, where they write letters to veterans, which Miss Moyer then sends out to be distributed, which is really cool. Next up for Ironton, the students did a book escape room, which they created a really innovative digital escape room based around their favorite graphic novel called Dogman. Ms. Rodriguez's class also presented the realistic fiction books alongside a decorative pumpkin to symbolize the character. My favorite activity would be Mr. Holmes the Mummy, which the students were able to wrap Mr. Holmes as a mummy after the IEPTO surpassed their fundraising goal at the Stallion Stroll. And then lastly, the students with their stellar costumes of their favorite characters, and then the taco. For Veterans Memorial, Mrs. DePasquale's class was able to use her competitive skills during the catapult competition. To commemorate the veterans, Veterans Memorial did a service as well that decorated the room to thank the soldiers' selflessness and dedication. The Veterans Memorial Eagles also created some amazing scarecrows that resemble book characters, which are from the books that they are reading. For Crafter, you can see some really amazing costumes by the teachers. These all are really cool costumes, in my opinion. And you could see the students also joined in on the costumes. The kids were also able to have some fun activities, and fourth grade clarinet group were able to get ready for their wintertime concert, which is really cool that they're doing that, because I know during COVID they were really kind of strict on that, but now they're able to do that. PRTV growing their skills in the TV studio, and they even did a special commemoration for Veterans Day. Down at Fogelsville, the Foxes collected 288 pounds of candy for gratitude, and these donations are going to the fire department as a thank you for all they do. The kids made some really cool science labs as well about rocks and minerals. And alongside science, the Foxes practiced their addition and subtraction skills in Mr. Ryan's class. As always, Fogelsville's classes are very creative. We always see some artwork being presented in Fogelsville, and they were able to do some really fun arts with scribbles and lines. Next up, they did the turkey trot. They were able to participate at the nice fall air. They were able to run around in the courtyard. They were also able to show their Halloween spirit as well and show their really cool costumes. And then the teachers joined in as construction workers. I feel like there's a theme going on now. Construction workers. And then they were also able to draw some spooky drawings and kind of get ready for the spooky occasion. For Citronia, the masterpiece of the month allows students to creative minds to be highlighted and rewarded. Like this month's winner was Gabby P., who created a farm collage. The Citronia fifth grade flute players are practicing their skills and playing some Halloween music to get into the festivity. First grade teachers were able to gather some pumpkins for the kiddos to go pumpkin patch picking, apple, and be able to pick some pumpkins in the courtyard. And then the costumes for Citronia were also really amazing. You can see some emojis going on and some superheroes. And then they were able to also celebrate Memorial Day by doing a parade and created a wall celebrating veterans and hedgehog students' families. Next up, going to the middle schools. The middle schools needed to include the amazing Star Wars costumes by the staff. As you can see, those are really awesome. The picture below shows the students of the month who are outstanding performance of the achievement. The SMS assembly talks about how everyone is sharp and smart and kind of highlights all those students and tries to make everybody feel motivated to be outgoing in school and kind of have some motivation to succeed. And then congratulations to some of the Red Ribbon winners, which are they made posters and decorated around the school, and kind of the best poster that highlighted drug-free, way for kids to learn more about drug-free environment. They won the Red Ribbon contest, which is really cool. Students were able to discover some stellar marine life and oceanography during Mr. Hines' science class. And then food trucks were brought to the wonderful staff to enjoy also. Down at OMS, they were able to do some cave drawings as part of their early man unit. OMS students spin the prize wheel after being recognized for excellent behavior, and they were able to get a prize after. Fright Day is always a fun time for staff and students to dress up at OMS, and my favorite, I used to go to OMS and I see Mr. Joel dressed up as my favorite TV character from the show Stranger Things, and that is really cool. And I see some really familiar faces, which is really nice to see. And then I remember doing this in middle school. All my students were able to participate in the Balloon Fest, which is a really cool event. The students were able to witness an actual hot air balloon go up and down and witness the wonders of flying one. And lastly, PHS, we have a lot going on. The costumes were really innovative. The winners were the Pac-Man, which was the B-Wing. They decorated the entire B-Wing into Pac-Man theme, and then all the teachers dressed up as the Pac-Man characters. And then Mr. Gaiman dressed up as Ken Pandemic Edition and put a box all around him dressed up as Ken, which is really cool. For the sports, we are doing amazing. A lot of the sports are going to states. So right now, girls volleyball, girls field hockey, girls tennis, and girls and boys soccer were able to reach states. And then football right now is winning EPC South Division Championship and is on path to win states. And then I also wanted to add Moana Junior just debuted as well. And then the English and math students are getting ready just to prepare for all the tests coming up. And then I also want to add in that I wasn't able to put a picture of this, but Dr. Madsen's student leadership program took place on Friday, and I was able to join, and it's a way to put students' voices into the decisions that are made at the high school and kind of have a little bit more student input and student thoughts into what's going on. And I think that's really cool that Dr. Madsen is doing that. And then lastly, for school district announcements, like I said, Moana debuted on the 12th, the 13th, and the 14th. And then there's still some spots open for the 5 to 11-year-old vaccine clinic at the Parkland High School on November 19th. And on November 9, 2021, the Trojan Alumni Club will celebrate its 70th anniversary at Iron Lakes Country Club. The Trojan Alumni Club has a history of supporting Parkland athletics and providing scholarships for student athletes. And that is it for the student report.
Thank you very much. Moving on to the approval of minutes, if I can have a motion.
I will make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Item number 6, report of executive sessions. Mrs. Frisbee? Thank you. Moving on to item 7, acceptance of the treasurer's report. I can have a motion.
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Moving on to item number 8, public comment on agenda items. We have 2 tonight. And as a reminder, Parkland School District, just like all the other districts across the state of Pennsylvania, are still under the mask order in all buildings until that is lifted. So please wear your mask and keep your mask on, properly worn when you are speaking. Thank you. The 2 comments for agenda items are both from the same person on 2 different agenda items. Jared Coleman. The first being on agenda item 10.01, the second being on agenda item 12.02.
Which one did you want me to comment on first?
Whichever you want.
Okay. My name's Jared Coleman. I'm 1410 Buck Hill Lane in Bryant'sville. I'd like to first talk to you about agenda item 1202, board policy first reading. As I was perusing the updated policy here on Code 006, Section 000, local board procedures, I see that you added a lot of guidance that follows the Sunshine Act. And I would just like to suggest, perhaps, that you consider adding definitions for the Sunshine Act as well. Specific, I think it would be beneficial to add the definitions that talk about official action. I think this would have benefited the board last meeting when you all voted to pass the teacher's CBA. Because, just trying to pull an email quick. adding it to the agenda, the action of adding it to the agenda was an official action. Just putting it on the agenda should have then had public comment available. The only time I was aware of public comment was after the vote. But the actual official action to add it to the agenda should have been open to public comment for public to comment on it being added to the agenda. And that was also never, that's a separate cause, that was never noticed. I'm just wondering if perhaps you could consider adding definitions to section 0000, code is 6. That's all I have on that one. And then if I could speak on the next section, which has to do with the teachers' CBA. I just want to begin by saying that sorry.
Let me interrupt you. We're put down for 10.01, which was the item under Academics, Arts, and Athletics Committee, not the CBA.
Oh yeah, I meant the teachers' CBA.
Which is 9.01.
Yeah, if I could amend that to 901, please.
Sure.
I just want to say that I think teachers are the most important asset that a school district has, no exception here at Parkland. In my 12 years at Parkland, God blessed me by giving me the most outstanding teachers. Every one of them did an outstanding job, excuse me, educating myself as well as my peers. So don't make any mistake in interpreting my quest for transparency and honesty. And to be quite honest, I'm not sure if this new CBA and the new pay raises are even adequate for teachers, considering the rapid inflation that the whole country is going to be forced to absorb. But make no mistake, this is nothing about teachers' pay. We have a problem here, and it has to do with transparency. Transparency to the taxpayers and transparency to the Parkland community as a whole. My question tonight involves the process the district took. One of the most important tasks the governance has is to be transparent to its constituents. We have laws in place that ensure this. My question is about the statement on the agenda, talking about the addition of this. Quote, to clarify any concern that the school board did not comply with the Sunshine Act when it added an agenda item in the time of the public meeting on October 26, 2021 by a majority vote of the school board without posting the agenda item at least 24 hours before the meeting. The school board has posted the agenda item at least 24 hours before this meeting and hereby takes official action to ratify and confirm its official action previously taken on October 26, 2021, where the board approved and authorized the school board president to execute the school board secretary to attest the collective bargaining agreement between Parkland School District and the Parkland Education Association effective from September 1, 2022 to August 31, 2025. Although this official action to ratify and confirm its previous vote being taken here in the school board believes that the addition of the agenda item at the time of this meeting on October 26, 2021, and the official action taken to approve the CBA was in full compliance with the Sunshine Act. I don't even understand what you're saying. Are you saying you did it wrong? Hey, I'm confused. If there's concern,
Time's up.
did
He had 2 questions here, 2 items, so we did expect a counter, but have not.
I'm just wondering if anyone can make it. I assume we're not gonna, no one's gonna say it. It just seems like so if there was a concern, but you're sure you did it right, why are we redoing it tonight? I'm not understanding that. I'm just looking for clarification and transparency. A lot of parents are asking me, what's going on? Why are they, if they did it right, why are they now redoing it? No one seems to, we just want their answers and we just want transparency. And I can't seem to find why we're redoing it. And
there's been a challenge to what we did on October 26th. So in the event that there's any possibility that what we did on October 26th was not in conformity with the Sunshine Act, there's a very easy fix to that, and that is do it again. So we're doing it again, such that if there was some kind of a issue on October 26th, when we voted on the CBA, that issue gets fixed by doing it tonight, since the agenda for tonight was posted 24 hours in advance of the meeting, and the board will take a vote, and if the board affirmatively approves the agreement, then the problem, as far as the board is concerned, goes away.
Yeah, there's an exception to the mootness doctrine, though, and this wouldn't preclude it. This would be repeatable. Essentially, I could come in as a board member, look for a low turnout from the citizens, from the constituents, put in a radical plan for approval when only 5 parents show up, add it to the agenda. If someone challenges me in court, it's fine. All I have to do is quickly add it to the next agenda and vote it through 24 hours ahead of time. It just seems like it's repeatable, but I understand your point, and I guess that's where it is.
Sure, it is repeatable, and as long as we do it right tonight, even if we did it wrong on October 26th, the agreement stands.
I disagree, but I appreciate the statement. Thank you.
And just to clarify, there are parameters for things that can and cannot be added in open meetings. So it's a narrow definition of.
Yeah, and explicitly prohibited are entering into funds or contracts, and the CBA is exactly that. It has to be de minimis in nature.
Well,
But someone smarter than me.
yeah, well, I can say that's the dispute, that's the matter of debate.
Right.
We believe we did it right, we're going to defend ourselves and prove that we did it right.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Moving on to item number 9, collective bargaining agreement between Parkland School District and Parkland Education Association. To clarify any concern that the school board did not comply with the Sunshine Act when it added an agenda item at the time of its public meeting on October 26, 2021, by majority vote of the school board without posting the agenda item at least 24 hours before the meeting. The school board has posted this agenda item at least 24 hours before this meeting and hereby takes official action to ratify and confirm its official action previously taken on October 26, 2021, where the board approved and authorized the school board president to execute and school board secretary to attest the collective bargaining agreement, CBA, between Parkland School District and the Parkland Education Association, effective from September 1st, 2022 to August 31st, 2025. Although this official action to ratify and confirm its previous vote is being taken herein, the school board believes that the addition of the agenda item at the time of its meeting on October 26, 2021, and the official action taken to approve the CBA was in full compliance with the Sunshine Act. If I could have a motion, please.
So, second.
Thank you. Thank you. Any comments or questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Moving on to item number 10, Academics, Arts, and Athletics Committee. This is Linda Pearl McKenna.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt.
Were there any abstentions to the vote of CBA?
You are out of order, sir.
Okay.
Item 10.01, approval of agreement for behavioral services with Jonathan W. Ivy. The committee recommends that the board approve and authorize the board president to execute the attached agreement for behavioral services between Jonathan W. Ivy, Ph.D. and Parkland School District for the provision of a functional behavior assessment, and I so move.
And second, please.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries.
That concludes the AAA items.
Thank you. Item 11, Buildings and Grounds Committee, Mr. Robert Cohen.
Thank you. The committee recommends that the following construction change order be approved. Parkway Manor driveway, CO number 1, Living Good Excavators Incorporated, credit for unused contract allowance, deduct $8,219, and I make that motion.
Thank you. Second? Second. Thank you. Any comments or questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries.
Item 11.02, the committee recommends that the board approve and authorize the board president to execute the attached correspondence as formal notification to renew the agreement with Clearview School Services, LLC, for a second term from January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2022. The agreement is in affiliation with the Lee Norco Purchasing Cooperative. This renewal will be at no expense to the food service department. I make that motion.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries.
That concludes our committee's recommendations.
Thank you. Item number 12, Personnel and Finance Committee, Mrs. Lisa Ross.
Thank you, Mr. Hine. I'd like to take item 12.01, personnel items. This is one whole motion. Resignations, retirements, items A through J. Request for sabbatical leave of absence, item A. Request for FMLA, item A. Request for extension of child rearing leave of absences, items A and B. Request for child rearing leave of absence, items A through C. And employment of personnel, items A through T. And the approval of the day-to-day substitute list. And I so move.
Thank you. Second? Thank you. Any comments or questions?
With regret, item A, Brenda Durenzo.
Yes, very much so.
I just want to also take this time to thank Brenda Lorenzo for doing an outstanding job for both the district and the community throughout her 32 years in education. Thank you so much.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries.
Item 12.02, this is a first reading board policy. It's 006, local board procedures, meetings, and I so move.
Thank you.
Sorry, it's the first reading.
The first reading.
Never mind.
Nothing to do.
Okay, and item 12.03, the committee recommends that the board of directors, in accordance with GASB 54, approve the following committed fund balance categories and ending balances as of June 30th, 2021. $8,250,000 other post-employment benefits, $2,250,000 charter school tuition stabilization, $3,800,000 healthcare stabilization, $3 million revenue stabilization, $13,500,000 retirement PSER stabilization, and $4,398,771 special education cost stabilization. And I so move.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you. Second. Any comments or questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries.
Item 12.04, audited financial statements for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021. The committee recommends that the Board of School Directors accept the audited financial statement of the Parkland School District for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021, performed by Putnam Lisicky and Company, certified public accountants, including budget transfers as required by government auditing standards and the Pennsylvania Department of Education, PDE. And I so move.
Thank you. Second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries.
And that concludes personal and finance, Mr. Hine.
Thank you very much. Item number 13, approval to submit Plan Con K. The administration recommends approval to submit Plan Con K project refinancing for the district's general obligation bonds, Series C of 2021, to the Pennsylvania Department of Education, PDE. If I can have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you. Any comments or questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Moving on to reports, Lehigh Career Technical Institute, Mrs. Ziegler.
Thank you, Mr. Hine. So LCTI's Joint Operating Committee met on Wednesday, October 27th. Okay, so our chairperson report, welcome to new board member, Jillian Emmert from Pascagoula. We also did farewell and said thank you to Cheryl Johnson-Watts and Carol Cunningham for serving on the JOC. Our student report, we heard from Kayla Matika, who is the current secretary of the Cambosa chapter. She's a student in Whitehall, and she explained the positive impact that LCTI has had on her life. Her future goal is to go to college and then medical school after graduation. From Dr. Rushton, we heard that there will be a report coming from PDE for reaccreditation of the adult education program. The report will officially be out in January, but they were very impressed with many things, but especially the connection to industry that they have. Ms. Petty and Dr. Greenwald gave an update on the 50th anniversary celebration and mentioned that the 50th anniversary time capsule would be resealed in the spring. Mr. Will mentioned that 2,059 students toured LCTI over the past few weeks. Every student left with a brochure that has a map of LTCI as well as a list of their programs with QR codes that students can scan to learn more about the program. I actually brought it with me because I thought it was really, really neat how they did it. So every single program, if you're interested, you can come up and check it out afterwards. But every single program is listed here, and all you have to do is scan the code to learn more about that program. From Mr. Capadia, we heard that he's starting the process on replacing the wireless infrastructure at LCTI, and he's applying through E-rate in order to receive roughly 60% discount. We had a few grant approvals and a few items under adult workforce education and personnel. There was nothing under curriculum. As far as the committee reports, we heard from the Business and Finance Committee, who made a motion to allocate the 21 members of the JOC for the 2022 calendar year. I have it listed there as far as how many seats each district gets. In Parkland, we have 6 seats. The Facilities Committee had 3 purchases there. Again, they're listed. The Policy Committee had 5 policies up for second reading and approval. Public Relations talked about how there is well, now it's happened. There's a virtual open house that was from November 9th to the 11th. And the Education Committee gave us updates on the building tours that were happening. There were a few items under conferences and miscellaneous. Again, are in my report if you would like more information. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Mr. Kennedy tells me that the Lehigh Carbon Community College report will be available in December, so we'll move on to Carbon Lehigh Intermediate Unit. Mrs. Roth.
Thank you very much. The item met last night. This is not off the presses here. For the director's report, Dr. I mentioned their Children's Foundation and the several fundraisers that contribute towards initiatives like the adaptive bicycles in the spring, toys in the holidays, and the golf tournament and the gift baskets, which are going on. The gift baskets initiative is going on right now. This is one of their top fundraisers. Dr. I also mentioned how well one of our IU member district reps, James McAndrew from Panther Valley, is currently testifying at the school fair funding trial. So we're all anxious to see how that pans out. Also recognized was Mary Ziegler from Southbury. She's the current IU board president who is leading the IU board. As Dr. I ran down all the volunteer efforts that Mary has done over the years, there wasn't a drag in the house because she just has done so much and she's so committed to everything. She's going to continue. She's actually on the Children's Foundation, so at least Mary will get to continue in that capacity. Dr. I also mentioned the general operating budget timeline. She has already met with all the superintendents, and only outstanding data at this time is the official PSERS and medical benefits rates. But for the most part, that is all ready to go. Looking to have this budget approved by December 20th. She's very proud, Dr. I is very proud of the fact that there is no increase again this year for member districts amounts. That led into Tara Hauser, financial manager up there, giving the board some details around the proposed 2021-22 general operating budget, which is currently at $3,380,690. The roughly $100,000 increase in expenditures was for medical and prescription rates, which went up 14%. Dental actually had a 5% decrease, so that's good news. And PSERS rate is currently at 35.79%. So that accounts for a lot of that as well. This was offset, though, by an increase in state funding of $104,000, which is why there is no increase for the school districts, the member school districts again this year. Parkland's contributions have been November 2020, $203,162. November 2021 is expected to be $205,536. Now, one of the newer board members asked exactly how those contributions are calculated. And Tara explained that it's a formula based on the size of your district, how many students are serviced, and property values. So that takes into account a lot of how that is determined. We then had a presentation on the IU's Transition Continuum Program. There's WBL, which is work-based learning, VIP, which is Vocational Independence Program, and Project Search. The WDL program focuses on living and working in their community for the student interns. And the VIP and Project Search programs focus on transitioning to integrated competitive employment, acceptable social skills, and 100% of interested interns are getting jobs. And that is in thanks to a huge part because there's currently 150 businesses participating in the programs there that offer students intern positions. 2 board members, and I was one of those, requested that this list be published for board and community awareness. And that way we can see what businesses are participating, helping out our students, and we can in turn support them if we so feel a need. Dr. Mark Scott also talked about the holiday basket raffle fundraiser that's currently going on. For $20, it gets you 24 tickets. A lot of nice baskets up there they have that you have a shot at. You can order those tickets online, but you have to mail in checks. They don't have any online payment right now. They're looking to get that for next year. And yes, I did volunteer to donate a basket on behalf of Parkland School District for next year, because I do love to create those team baskets. So we'll be taking part in that. And that was it for the IU.
All right, thank
Continue
you.
in the library.
Continue in the library.
All right. The Parkland Community Library, then on October 28th, we had our director's report from Mrs. Debbie Jack. Debbie is planning to develop some diversity and customer service training for her library staff. The new website is up and running. There was an overlap period when no one could make any changes to both the old and the new sites. So a few minor corrections, revisions are still being taken care of at this time, but they have all been since October 28th. Those are all taken care of now. Let's see. Debbie reported that slow customer times in the early AM hours were noticed, and she's reached out to other libraries. This is definitely something that everyone is experiencing. We did get an email from Debbie today, and she got a response from libraries across the country, and everyone is pretty much experiencing the same thing. There was a group discussion as to whether this is all due to COVID or maybe a need to raise more community awareness of the library and all the services and events that they hold. Another possible relevant issue could be the new no late fees policy. It was mentioned that this is resulting in less turnover of inventory because people give up after having to wait so long to get certain books. We agreed to table this item. We're going to be discussing it at the meeting this Thursday night, a little bit more. We were discussing new book collections and something Debbie discovered called the Library of Things that she's going to look into a little bit more, but it's going to include things like borrowing fishing poles, movie projectors, digital slide converters, sewing machines, which is something I thought was really interesting. You've got people that they know how to use one, they don't have one of their own. So if the library would rent out a sewing machine, it sounded kind of interesting. So Debbie's getting a little bit more information on that. She's going to report back to us. Debbie also asked for permission to close at 4 p.m. on Wednesday, the 24th, Thanksgiving Eve. They're going to have a retirement party for one of the staff members who's been there for a long time. So they will close early on the 24th. President's report. Our President Patty Osmond read the American Library Association's Bill of Rights, and the board agreed to ratify those. Treasurer's report was kind of brief. We're 2.4% ahead of donations from the same time last year. Recent donation reporting is just over $20,000 that the library has taken in this year, so that was good news. We had a discussion around the guidelines for setting up renting the library meeting rooms, the new meeting rooms that we have now in the expanded building. So we're coming up with all the rules surrounding that, and but try to generate people using the library a little bit more. And I think Debbie Jack requested in addition to the Tech Center computer access and policy document that addresses the 2 computer locations. Added a section for the Barclays Family Children's Wing computers, exclusively for under the age of 13. So now when you want to use the computers, they're going to be 2 distinct areas for those based on ages. And that's it. That concludes the library report. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 1405, Parkland Education Foundation. This is Carol Pacquiao.
Thank you, Mr. Hine. I have 2 items tonight for the Education Foundation. They are hosting the holiday gift card fundraiser, which they did last year for the faculty and staff, for the entire Parkland staff. You can purchase a $10 gift card. There will be 5 participating local businesses participating in this program, and it will get delivered to the specific Parkland staff member that you want to deliver to with a message. The foundation will receive $5 for each card that's sold. The gift cards will have a personal message delivered to the staff before we leave for holiday break, and the sale will start November 24th and end December 15th, and the information can be found on the foundation website through the Parkland School. It's a great way to show appreciation for a staff member, bus driver, anybody in the district. They will deliver. Also, distinguished alumni nominations are due November 30th. If you know of any Parkland graduate that's done amazing things, you can consider nominating them for the Wall of Honor, which is at the high school. If you've ever been to the high school, you can see previous winners. You can find the application on the foundation website. Go on the parklandsd.org/foundation under the Distinguished Alumni Wall of Honor and Gala. We did have our last board meeting last week. We are discussing possibly having some type of a gala this year. It might not be the normal that we've done before, but we're looking into all options, and I'll report up once they make a decision. And then I report.
Thank you very much. And for item 1406, legislative report, I do not have any updates tonight. We'll move on to item 15, approval of accounts payable. I can have a motion.
Oh, second.
Thank you, thank you. Any comments or questions?
President Hine, please let my affirmative vote not represent a favorable support towards PA Cyber Charter Schools. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would request that my vote reflect the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that we reconsider our vote to item 9.1. And I make that motion, and I'd appreciate a second. And I'll ask our solicitor to explain.
And we have a motion and a second.
Second.
Yeah, when the vote was taken, it was inadvertently voted upon by all members of the board, when in fact there are 2 members of the board who believe they should be abstaining in accordance with the Ethics Act. Although it's not crystal clear, in order to be totally safe and do this, so there's no issues or questions, we're going to recommend that we reconsider that vote and vote again, so that the board members do have the option to abstain if they choose to do so. So it would be appropriate then to make a motion to reconsider the vote that was taken on that particular item.
Okay, so the motion and the second is to reconsider, and then we will rediscuss and reconsider item 9.01.
I'll second Mr. Cohen's motion.
And we have the second already, so we'll just vote on that item to reconsider. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moving back to item 9.01.
Anybody abstain?
I make an objection for the Sunshine Act. I just read you a statement about definitions. You just made an official action by adding it back in, and you didn't vote
Point
on
of
it.
order, guys, out of order.
It's not out of order. It's an
You are
objection
out of
for the
order.
Sun. I am not. It's in the law. Go ahead, call me out of order. Fine. Go ahead. We'll deal with this later. This is ridiculous. We'll deal with it later. Continue. No one has anything to deal with.
The public has a right to make public
You already
comment
voted.
on matters on the agenda. This is a matter that's on the agenda. Public has already commented on this item. The board is simply doing a reconsideration on the vote that was taken, and the public has already commented on the agenda item.
moving on back to 9.01 to
I still object, I think it's wrong. That's fine, but let the record show that.
And Mr. Miller, we revote and reread everything, correct? Or
There's been a motion and a second, correct?
to reconsider, yes, and that was.
Right, so there's discussion and the board members who feel they need to abstain can do so at the appropriate time.
All right, but I have to ask for a motion and a second on 9.01 again.
Right.
All right, so if we can get, I will read this again, 9.01. To clarify any concern that the school board did not comply with the Sunshine Act when it added an agenda item at the time of its public meeting on October 26, 2021 by majority vote of the school board without posting the agenda item at least 24 hours before the meeting. The school board has posted this agenda item at least 24 hours before this meeting and hereby takes official action to ratify and confirm its official action previously taken on October 26, 2021, where the board approved and authorized the school board president to execute and school board secretary to attest the collective bargaining agreement, CBA, between Parkland School District and the Parkland Education Association, effective from September 1st, 2022 to August 31st, 2025. Although this official action to ratify and confirm this previous vote is being taken herein, the school board believes that the addition of the agenda item at the time of its meeting on October 26, 2021, and the official action taken to approve the CBA was in full compliance with the Sunshine Act. If I can have a motion.
So.
Thank you. And second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? We do not have the form in front of us. But
I can state I am abstaining from this vote, just for reasons that my son is employed with the district.
and I'm abstaining from the vote for the reason that my wife is employed with, as a teacher in the district. And we do a roll call vote. Yeah, that's where I'm going. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Aye. So that passes. Moving back down to public comment on non-agenda items, we have several tonight. First person, Janice Stansky. And again, please wear your mask and please state your name and address for the record.
Janice Kansky, 1832 Pineville Cove, Louisville, PA. Hi, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Janice Kansky, and I'm a Parkland High School senior. I haven't seen our school pursue an alternate solution to masking. As many know that the harmful effects of masking on children, our current situation could be an opportunity to provide leadership and problem solving to our community through finding a solution where masks are not necessary or, in the worst case, optional. However, it is clear to me that you have settled with your current position, harming children in the process, instead of leading the way to new solutions. As a student often encouraged to take on leadership, it is greatly disappointing that our district is not exemplifying the qualities it encourages its students to strive towards. I did some research today in preparation for this meeting, inspired by Stephen Petty, an industrial hygienist, or a professional who identifies and prevents unhealthy exposures that may cause workplace injuries or illness, who has recently taken to speaking at board meetings. Mr. Petty proposes that instead of masking children, schools should invest in air purifying and ventilation systems. These systems would not only cleanse classroom environments of COVID-19, but also of other viruses and toxins present in the air, promoting an overall healthier classroom. And the biggest plus, it negates the need for masking. So I did a bit of math and discovered that with an average class size of about 20 students, Parkland hosts around 479 classrooms of students within the district. To furnish these about 500 classrooms with the air purifier that reviews.airpurifiers.com ranks as the best in filtration for classrooms would cost approximately $400,000. Parkland obtained $11 million from the CARES Act and has a $200 million budget. It astounds me that we haven't heard of any solutions aside from masking. If you've done other research regarding your policy, I would love it if you'd let us all know what you found. These filtration systems are easily within our school's budget, and while I know I have not accounted for all of the other spaces present in a school, it is clear that we should be able to find a solution with the $11 million dollars the government gave our school with that purpose in mind. I'm looking forward to the board stepping up their leadership and providing an alternate solution to masking. I hope that by the time the mandate on masking is lifted in Pennsylvania, a better solution is found. Thank you.
The next person is Christina Holsinger.
Christina Holsinger, 1240 North 36th Street. Good evening. Parents and schools had a big victory last week at the state level. However, Parkland has sent out a message saying even if the mandate drops, we'll go according to our health and safety plan tiers. At last month's meeting, board stood up by the mandate only, and tiers kind of went to the wayside, but if they were to be used, there has to be within our district data. My youngest in second grade asked me 2 weeks ago why, when you heard of only one COVID case and it wasn't even a classmate, did his class have to wear a mask every single day? I see my children's rights being taken advantage of for reasons that are no longer justified by facts, tiers, or updated and accurate data. Yet all these children come home with wet, dirty masks, the same masks they are in, to prevent them from inhaling or spreading COVID. Really? My boys go to school with freshly laundered masks daily. My daughter prefers the paper, and since they're made in China, I'm paying extra for USA brand, because health matters and I worry what's in these things that we're putting on. I cringe and hope it's the last patent I need to buy. Some wonder why are most parents not speaking out. Guess what I'm hearing? Not just about grandchild days a week. There's a community fear going on that kids are going to go hybrid. Perhaps because Parkland hasn't once put a survey out asking if there's for parent choice. While there are some who may wish their children to continue to wear masks, there are others who would hard people toss the mask if their child can come in. Don't our voices matter, considering it's our children who are voted in by the parents? We're looking at an outdated tiered plan created last summer. If Parkland allowed kids back in when the vaccine was available for teachers and they had their choice if the vaccine they wanted or not, considering the youth is at little risk. It was not about tiers. It's now obvious there's no end game. Why? Because you're given direction from the Health and Safety Board that has no end game. So long as you continue to abide, they will continue to delegate to you and force you to do things. We're not talking about good news, herd immunity. Instead of hospital cases like in 2020, we're now looking at simply positives, some testing positive and bouncing back the next day, and those quarantined are home for a week longer. Who's on the board tracking these tiers and dropping the mandate? If one feels better because they have a mask on there, that's their right. But by all means, if another feels silenced, taught, suffocated because something's covering their face, how are we not listening to them too? You're really getting doctors enough to confirm you can't breathe well? There's no longer based on science. It's become politics, and this doesn't belong in our schools. If someone's worried their child's classmate doesn't have a mask, they can easily get a reinforced double-layered mask that provides them peace of mind. Dropping the mandate does not remove their choice, but it does allow a child to find it easily and remove something that covers our identity, that removes the communication, and allows teachers to focus on teaching, not policing. Crack the windows, let some airflow, let the parents and families decide if their child needs extra protection. Since when do we force masks on healthy people ever? Also, Bethany has asked me to take the seat of Mr. Kennedy. I've seen her attend every meeting and treat others with respect, inside and outside. She has no other agenda than to help Parkland stay strong. She truly cares about the district, kids' mental health and physical health center, and keeping us in our decisions. So I just ask you to give her your eye. Thanks so much for your time.
Next speaker, Audrey Edinger.
Hi, I'm Audrey Edinger, 3217 West Highland Street, and a Parkland parent. I wanted to start by thanking the board for your continued adherence to this health and safety plan that you adopted in July and that was updated in August. With Dr. Madsen's leadership, you set very specific standards for how you would make decisions about indoor face coverings. I'm sure that we all hoped that by November that COVID numbers would have dropped significantly. However, yesterday's data shows us that at 184.8 cases over 7 days in Lehigh County, way over the 100 cases per 100,000 that would call for us to remain at Tier 3 standards. This number has risen over the last 2 weeks, parallel with the national trends. The 10-day rolling total of cases affecting PSD schools has also risen, with today's total at 38 known cases, again, well above the standard that the district had set. The test positivity case in Lehigh County is 9% and rising. And while I'm utterly delighted that children aged 5 to 11 have begun receiving vaccines, the fact that children under 5 aren't yet eligible means that many Parkland families are still unwillingly at risk. I am here to ask, as a parent and as a professional biologist and do research for a living, that you continue to follow the very sensible standards that you set back in August to make your future decisions about masking in the Parkland in schools, regardless of the presence of a state level mandate. We are clearly still in the tier 3 level of COVID metrics, no matter how frustrating that is. And the data continues to show, new data out today, that school districts with mask requirements have fewer cases than school districts that do not have mask requirements, whatever other measures they are taking. Please continue to make your decisions based in data and reason and continue to keep our children safe. Thank you for standing strong despite significant pressure. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Beth Weinkel-Finch.
Good evening, everyone. Beth Weinkel-Finch, 1815 Root Street, Allentown, 114. I was very happy to hear from our lawyer this evening about the reversal of the automatic stay on the illegal mandate issued by the Department of Health. Our lawyer advised that the stay is over as of December 4th, and now it's time to think about where we go from here. As an advocate for parents, kids, staff, and community members, the message is very clear that masks need to be made optional as soon as possible so our children have their right to breathe freely. The somewhat silent majority has been speaking with me regularly about this and the fact that only the parents who want mandates are being catered to at this point. They are the only ones with parent choice for their children, while the majority of us are left completely without a voice. There are many of us who want a choice, and as you know, based on the amount of voters who showed up for the most recent election, there are quite a few. It's very evident that the best decision the board can make is to offer parent choice for everyone, not just one side. You've heard me speak at almost every board meeting since we went back to in-person meetings, and my message is always the same. I speak for choice for all, and the ability to do what we as parents know is best for our children. I respect the thoughts and opinions of everyone and feel strongly that we should all have the right to decide what we want for our own kids. You will never hear me speak about banning masks because that would be just as bad as the situation we're in right now, not allowing choice for all. As a dedicated parent and resident of Parkland, I would love to be considered for the available seat on the school board once Mr. Kennedy resigns. Congratulations, by the way. I am a team player and a voice for parents and kids alike, so I know I would be a great representation for parent choice and working together to do what's best for our children. Thank you all for the opportunity to share my thoughts and the thoughts of those who reach out to me on a daily basis. It means so much to be able to be heard. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Christine Block.
Hi, Christine Block, 320 West Avenue. So during this pandemic, we've learned a lot. And as we like to hear, we want to follow science, and we also know that science is always changing, and we need to continue changing with that. In March 2020, we shut down schools. We were cleaning off the things we bought at the grocery store. We were wiping everything down. We didn't see anyone. We later learned that COVID was not on items, but it was through the air. Our kids can't bring any non-food items to share their birthdays or to celebrate things in their classroom. They can't interact with anyone else except the people in their classroom outside on the playground. Last year, Parkland only offered hybrid. We had half the kids in school, and schools were closed when there were positive cases in the school. As of today, Parkland High School has 10 cases. Last year, by those standards, it would have gone virtual already. So we're changing. So I'm asking the board to consider what we're learning and constantly changing and growing. reconsider the health and safety plan, and let's look back at the tier model to see what progress we can make to ending this pandemic. Let's remember, this virus is here to stay. It is not going to go away, no matter how long we mask and how long we vaccinate. We're going to be dealing with this forever. Congratulations, Mr. Kennedy. I'm super excited for you to become Southway Forest. But that's aside. I would just like you to consider Beth Finch. She has been really brought us together with our concerns and questions, and she's the voice of reason and will bring a new perspective to the board. And I know as a parent, I don't feel heard by the school district at all. I know we've asked for town hall meetings, and I know the pros and cons to that. I can see how that's cons. But I come up here and I talk to you for 3 minutes, and that's it, and then I go back and I sit down. But it's not a conversation. And parents want a conversation. We want more than just this, and I don't know how to get more than this, just this. And that's what we're looking for. Thank you very much for your time and for all your service. I really appreciate it.
The next speaker, Derek Holmes.
Hello again. My name is Jared Coleman. I live at 1410 Buckhill Lane in Browningsville. I'd like to speak to you tonight more about the situation with the masks on the children. I just can't. It's making me sick. I get in the car behind a school bus and I see the little kids looking out the back, strapped by their masks, like they're being hauled away to be tortured all day. It's just not okay. I think you need to be a little honest with the community. You're not going to let the kids take the masks off. You have no intention to do so. Be misinformation to say otherwise. Tier, it's not a tier, it's a cliff. A tier has steps. We go all of a sudden until we get to 100 cases out of 100,000. It's a cliff then, a steep cliff. And by today's standard, we're 300% over the threshold for the children to have to remove their masks. It's just inhumane. And I really urge you all to reconsider it. People didn't vote for me overwhelmingly because they're happy with what's going on here. And I think you all need to recognize this as board changes. We need to make decisions that reflect the requests of parents, because the parents do know what's best for their own children. And I'm glad I didn't go to the equity and inclusion meeting before this, because I'm sick and tired of talking to you guys about it, telling you what's going on, while I continually get gaslit the whole time. And make no mistake, I understand what SEL is. But understand that Mind Up was rated as a select group from Castle. Castle rates SEL programs, and the CEO of Castle in 2020 said, quote, "We see SEL as a tool for anti-racism to benefit children based on their race. Anti-racism is even pending. So stop looking the other way. I'm just asking you to just stop gaslighting us and just have a conversation, please. And I think we have to be more realistic with the parents. You have no intention to let the children not wear masks. It's not going anywhere. I'd like to know what your thoughts were on your certainty that we'll be going towards giving parents the choice here. I don't see it going anywhere. But that's all I have to say. I can only tell you what I hear in the community. We have 2 years to fix it. In school board meetings, and then we just start to revise and modify current plans to what the community wants. So thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Elizabeth Ortiz.
Hi, thank you. Elizabeth Ortiz, 2999 South Drive, Allentown, and a Parkland parent. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I'd first like to thank the board for their time and commitment to our students and our community. Because of your thoughtful decision-making during this challenging time, including the adoption of the tiered health and safety plan, our children, have been able to stay in school, engage in the classroom with their teachers, peers, and friends, and stay involved in co-curricular experiences that enrich all of our lives, like music and athletics and all of the things that Laura pointed out in her really thoughtful PowerPoint today. I'd like to use the rest of my time to address the discussions in our district and beyond that surround critical race theory, or CRT, as it's more widely known. CRT is likely not taught in any of Parkland's K-12 classrooms and is typically only seen in more progressive law and graduate schools. Still, the discussion of CRT permeates some of the more extreme conversations around our district and, of course, our nation. When asked if you can define CRT, and some may even argue that it means something different to everyone. Yet CRT, as coined by Kimberly Crenshaw, has a very clear definition with an impressive body of over 45 plus years of legal and academic research. CRT seeks to explore how racism impacts our legal and social systems. The arguments guiding the theory posit that while race is a construct, the historical and contemporary impact of racism are in fact real. The movement to quote-unquote ban CRT in the classroom is both a misnomer and largely being used for political clout, as those who denounce it seek to quench all timely and necessary discussion of race, gender, and identity in our schools, our communities, and in our lives. Again, there is little, if any, CRT taught in our schools, but more recent movements to seek equity have caused those on the extremes to desire to begin any introspective discussion on how our history has shaped our present. Our school curriculum is democratically decided, and not simply to create a skilled workforce, but more critically to educate our young people as fellow community members who can exercise and exchange ideas, and as citizens that understand our democracy, past and present. Our histories tell us how we got to this time and this place, and ignoring these realities only serves those who wish to have those histories erased. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. The last speaker tonight, David Elwich.
Hi, my name is David Elwich. I live at 915 Dillon Drive, South Whitehall. I'm the parent of a first and fifth grader who have never, not once, complained to me about wearing a mask. They have complained to me about the days that we've kept them home out of an abundance of caution. And we know that if we remove the mask mandate prematurely, many more students will have many more of those days. It's sad to me that our national politics has devolved to the point where one party is spreading lies about basic science and measures to keep our children safe. It is sad the same party has used honest efforts by educators to address issues of inequality in our country's complex history and is a target of dishonest attack under the guise of CRT. What's even more upsetting is how effective these tactics were in our local politics. And the next time this board convenes, we'll have a member who ran a platform of undermining student safety and attacking our DEI curriculum. Indeed, this evening he has demonstrated a desire to undermine the proper functioning of this board rather than support your work of doing what's in the best interest of our children and the best interest of our community. And I would point out that the two of you who were in re-election, congratulations, garnered more votes, and fewer than 30% more votes than he did, and fewer than 30% of eligible voters in our county cast a vote. And those two of you who earned re-election with more votes than Mr. Coleman were serving on the board as you grappled with and ultimately developed the current health and safety plan, and you were serving on the board when the current DEI curriculum was adopted. And so, even as lawmakers in Harrisburg have successfully stripped our governor of the ability to mandate health measures for our children, I urge you not to give in to the dishonest rhetoric that would have you back away from student safety or diverse education. Beginning next month, it seems the efforts to undermine the effective function of our board, the safety of our students, as well as attacks on our diversity curriculum will come from your side of the desk, not just this podium. I urge you to stay strong in the knowledge that many parents support you, many teachers and staff members who feel they cannot speak publicly. And I urge you, we are grateful for your leadership for the past year, and we are counting on it in the months to come. Thank you.
Moving on to item number 17, roundtable. We're going to go in a little bit of reverse order. I'm going to ask Dr. Massey, please start.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Hine. I'm going to start positive note here. I know that we had already done a small presentation for our longstanding board members and the service that they've provided to this district. And we're very much appreciative of that, especially during this time. But we want to also honor 2 other board members who will be stepping off the board very shortly. Robert Bob Bowles started serving on the Parkland Board of School Directors in December 1999 after retiring from a 30-year teaching career in the Allentown School District. He served 20 years, retired from the board in 2019, and then answered the call to serve once again when we had a vacancy back in April. We are so thankful for his service. Linda Perlman McKenna has served on the school board for the past 4 years. She has been a passionate advocate for children and really spent so much time learning all that was going on behind the scenes so that she could make thoughtful decisions about the future of this school district. And we certainly will miss her. Bob and Linda have parting gifts. We have parting gifts for you. And within your bag, you will find a book that is called Random Acts of Awesomeness, which highlight 25 different ways that people can change the world. The first way that is talked about is generosity. The quote that is marked at the beginning of the book is by playwright Tom Stopper and embodies the spirit of serving as a school board director, and I want to share it. Obviously, you would give your life for your children or give them the last biscuit on the plate. But to me, the trick to life is to take that sense of generosity between kin and make it apply to the extended family and to your neighbor and to your village and beyond. With sincere appreciation for many years of dedication to this Parkland School Board service, residents of the children of the Parkland School District, we thank you. Mr. Hunt, I'll finish my roundtable thoughts here relatively quickly. I do just want to make a note that it wasn't really purposeful to have the quote at this time, although after I read it out loud, it really resonated with what we're doing and what the board is doing. I appreciate the comments that we have, and unfortunately it's like one side and the other, even in the room. And that really doesn't embody, in my opinion, the Parkland School District. But we're appreciative of the thoughts. I think Christine had mentioned she doesn't feel like she's heard. And I have to say, I can't change that thought right from up here. And I think you mentioned about the idea of a discussion versus comment. And we have certainly thought about that and will continue to. We have many meetings with parents, as you can imagine, phone calls, group meetings, individual meetings, conversations. That will continue, and we'll look at continuing to build that back up, no matter what the case is, no matter what the thoughts are on either side. But that idea of extending that family to your neighbor, your village, and beyond. I mean, you have to somehow figure out ways to get back to that. And I recognize everybody's frustrated. It's not easy. There's a lot of yo-yo back and forth with things. But I think the message is that parents and the community is being heard. Decisions may not be made that everyone agrees upon, but I'm speaking for the administration that we hear what's happening in the board as well. Moving past that, and again, I appreciate the comments, certainly from our students for sure, not only tonight, but in our student leadership forum. We really learned a lot on Friday, which was fantastic, and appreciate the comments from the community. So, back to personnel real quick, as I talk about how much people really matter. And I just want to mention Brenda. She's here, and her resignation was on the board agenda. There's another quote. I'm sorry, I'm not usually a real big quote guy, but I do want to say, and I don't have who wrote this one or the exact quote, but they talk about work being a labor of love and pouring your heart into something. That epitomizes your work and the service that you've had for this school district. We thank you. You're going to be a huge loss to this district. I'm thankful that at least it's not happening right now. We still have almost a year with you to guide us in the right direction and the service that you provided for our children. we thank you. I want to mention Will Robertson again. I think about my career, 35 years. He's been in education. He's retiring this year as well. An English teacher at our high school. Again, think about that for a second. 35 years, the dedication of children. Amazing. I want to shout out, I don't know the results, so don't tell me yet. I know the girls volleyball team had a state semifinal playoff game this evening. So hopefully I see a thumbs up, so that's good news. And they'll play in the state championship then on Saturday evening. And we're very proud and excited about that. And I know that Laura had mentioned about our fall sports and the success that we've had. And I'm just as proud of what the work that they've done off the field and off the court as they have done on. I was able to go to the children's show on Junior on Sunday and just did a fantastic, the entire theater group did a fantastic job, even in the midst of all of this craziness and everything that's happening. The quality of show that was put on by our kids, if you didn't get a chance to see it, you'd be blown away and very proud of the work that everyone had. That's it for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bull, we'll start with you.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the school board for allowing me to serve the children of the Parkland School District for the last couple of months. It certainly has been my pleasure. I would also like to leave you with the way I left you 2 years ago. Please don't stop thinking about tomorrow. The kids in our school today have thousands of tomorrows to look forward to. Some of them don't look so good. I grew up in the 1940s and became of age in the 1950s. It seemed so much simpler back then. It's a tough world out there, so please keep doing everything you can for the children in our school district. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll turn to Mrs. Carla McKenna.
I was thinking maybe we'll ask. So I just want to remind people something I said last week. The next CAC meeting is this Thursday at 7 o'clock at Veterans Memorial Elementary School. Will be a tour and an update on curriculum and instruction. I want to thank Mark, Michelle, and Kelly for the workshop presentation. That was very helpful to make those clarifications and share that information. I want to congratulate the newly elected and re-elected school board members. I want to congratulate Mr. Cohen, Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Hines, and Mrs. Roth. And thank you for your service and leadership over the many years that you've been serving in our district. I think our district is very fortunate to have such great people. And I appreciate it. Brenda, I know you've got a year, but I want to take this opportunity tonight to say thank you for all your service in the various capacities in which you've served the district. I appreciate all your efforts. And then lastly, I guess I just would like to make, a parting comment or two, so if you'll just indulge me. I volunteered in many capacities for this district over the past 20 years. My oldest child started elementary school at Petronia 20 years ago. Right, Jamie? John's was there. But this, by far, has been a highlight for me. I've been inspired by many of you around this table to become more involved. And I ran for school board with the intent to help ensure that other children might enjoy the same great educational experience that my children enjoyed. The past 4 years volunteering on this school board has been very challenging at times, but it's been an extremely rewarding experience for me. And it's with very mixed emotions that I'm coming off the board. But it's given me great insight into what makes this district special. And I truly believe it's the people, the relationships, and the team. From board, colleagues on the board, to the administrators, principals, the department heads, teachers, all the people that support the students and the district operations. There's a lot of very talented, caring, dedicated people in this district who are passionate about educating their children and inspiring them to do their best. Everyone on this board or organization in general has unique personal qualities and strengths varied experiences and skill sets that they share, and opinions and perspectives. They are all critically important and highly valued. It doesn't mean we always agree. Disagreement is healthy. But it's the diversity along with professionalism, respect, compassion, and kindness that I believe has made this board and this whole organization a highly effective one. I think this district is a very strong district. We have much to be proud of, much to be grateful for. And I think with continued work as a team, with these values that I stated earlier in mind, and with a focus on the kids and what's in the best interest of the kids of the district, I'm confident the district will continue to provide the best educational opportunities for generations to come. It's been an honor and privilege to serve on this board, and I've enjoyed collaborating with all my fellow school board members. With the hardest working team of administrators and staff anywhere, I really respect all the members of this district. So I thank you for all your efforts. Keep up your great work, and I don't think my advocacy efforts for public education will end. And I just wish everybody the best and happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you. Staying on the then, Mr. Miller.
Just congratulations to Brenda.
Ms. Ashana.
I also want to thank my fellow board members, Bob Gold. I was thrilled that you accepted the offer to come back and serve the last few months. The knowledge that you have is amazing as far as public education and serving on the school board. So I appreciate that you were willing to come back. Linda, I will miss you. I really, it's amazing how you get to know everybody on this board. We are all very, very different, very different backgrounds, different, like you had said, different opinions. But it's been so enjoyable. It's really been a joy to work with you. I congratulate Rob Cohen and David Kelly on your years of service. David, good luck with your next position. I can't imagine serving on a board for 24 years. If you think about it, do you know anybody that's volunteered somewhere for 24 years? Not many people. So I appreciate that. And Lisa and David, I want to recognize your years of service and your continuing years of service. Formers and Patrick and myself, we're just not good. We're just here still. But like many of you have said, we have different opinions when you make public comment. We have different opinions sitting up here also. We discuss things in our committee meetings, which are open to the public, that we vet a lot of the issues that we're talking about here. So again, some of us have different opinions, and that's what makes us a good group to work with. I think the only other thing I want to say is just please next week enjoy Thanksgiving, be safe, do it wisely, do it safely, enjoy being with your family, appreciate that we are still here to be thankful and celebrating together. There's many people that are not going to have that opportunity. There's going to be a lot of empty seats around the Thanksgiving table. So just be appreciative and enjoy the time with them. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Cruz.
Wow. I'd first like to start out by thanking Bob and Linda for your years of service. Bob, especially with you with regards to your advocacy for people with special needs. As somebody that has Asperger's syndrome, I'm beyond grateful to have people like you serving on the school board. And even more so with your years of experience, I was beyond grateful. And I truly mean this, to be able to have the experience to work with you for the last 6 or 7 months on the school board, because that would never happened based on the fact that I came on after you left off. Linda, what can I say? It's been an honor and a privilege to sit beside you the last 2 years, to be able to see in all our meetings the way you think and process information, write down questions, and ensure you fully understand it. And at times, I was even thinking the same thing, or you made me look at things in a different light. It really, truly is greatly appreciated. Brenda, even though I know we're going to have you for a whole other year, I hope I wish you well in your retirement. And to the administration, thank you so much for your outstanding report today regarding diversity, equity, and inclusion. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Cohen?
Linda, your homework and your questioning has made my game better. I see the sincerity that you have brought to this board in your well thought out questions as to why things are happening and how they're being done, has increased everyone's knowledge on this board. And you will be missed. And you will be remembered for that trait, other than your kindness and your good personality. What you have brought to the table has made all of us better board members, and I thank you for that. Mr. Gold, I've sat next to you, I've worked with you for many years. I appreciate the effort that you've made to help our board in the last few months. I look forward to crossing paths with you in the community and seeking out your opinion and your wisdom. And I thank you for your service. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Ridley? No. Mr. Kennedy?
Linda, it's been an absolute pleasure the last 4 years. I do wish you the very best, and I think as Rob said, we've learned a lot from you in your thoughtfulness and comments, questions that you've asked in meetings. Bob, we'll see you at next, I'm sure. It's been great, again, coming back and having you join the board. So I appreciate that and filling in a short time. I do appreciate all the comments made tonight about my election to the Southwest Township Commission. I appreciate that. There's been a lot of comments to ask when I'm going to resign. Michelle McGowan knows I don't prepare speeches. I've done 2 speeches in 23 years. I don't write them. I did one when we did the dedication for the turf field, and I did one when we did the groundbreaking for Veterans Memorial. Those were the only 2 speeches I had written. I didn't expect to make this speech tonight, but I will. I am going to effectively resign on January 3rd, 2022, is when I will turn in my resignation for the Parkland School Board and become a commissioner on the 4th of January. I mentioned to Sue tonight that I wasn't going to make that announcement, but since so many people have asked me, I thought I would. And so I apologize. That's the last minute. It has been a tremendous journey on the school board. I want to thank PSBA for their plaque, and I'll make more comments as we get into December's meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Roth?
Thank you. Just first of all, Brenda, congratulations. As Mr. Kennedy alluded to, when we were doing the motions and all that, we didn't want to. I wanted to just skip right over it, but I couldn't because it was A. So, but anyway, it's a tough, I know it's a tough decision, and it probably was very tough for you, but, you know, it's glad that we're going to have you for 1 more year, as Mark said, and, you know, just wish you all the best beyond that. And I'm sure there's going to be things going on a little bit later. With regards to my fellow board members, Mr. Bold, it's funny that you say, don't stop thinking about tomorrow. That's your advice to us, because I always have considered you our resident historian. When it came to anything that we were discussing, you had it. You knew the year that it happened, when maybe some topic had come up before. I mean, you're amazing as far as that's concerned. So I have relied on that, and you know what I mean. You better still be around for that phone call when I have some questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Linda, our recording secretary, the notes that you take are just amazing. And I know that any time we had a budget seminar, or we had any sort of a workshop or retreat, and there was something that I didn't remember, like, oh darn it, I'm checking my notes, I'm like, who do I call? I'm going to call Linda. And it was so wonderful working with you on CAC before, you know, we all got here. And I was thrilled 4 years ago when you said, and I think Mr. Cohen nailed it, the sincerity that you have brought the board has been what, you know, has been wonderful, and we've all benefited from. Mr. Kennedy, congratulations. We will miss you. A few years ago, PSBA had made some board training is mandatory. And I think what I'd like to see them add to that is that board members need to, at least once in their years of service, take a 7-hour car drive from Atlanta to New Orleans when their flight gets canceled and they're headed to a national, in the rain, headed to a national convention. Because, that was a lot of resiliency and, yeah, we did it. We did it. We took care of that. And Mr. Cohen, my wordsmithing mentor, and, Mr. Hine hasn't learned his lesson yet. You go last. You need to go last in all the round tables. I think that should be something that we make a resolution about later. And we've got 4 more years, so thank you for that, and congratulations. And for all the board members, including Carol, Patrick, and Marissa, I just want to say, please be proud of the work you do, the people that you are, and the difference that you make. Thank you.
Mrs. Ziegler.
So I just wanted to start by thanking Dr. Madsen, Dr. Minotti, and Kelly Rosario for their presentation this evening on equity, inclusion, and belonging. Thank you for clarifying what equity and inclusion look like in real time in the Parkland School District. I was sad to see Brenda who will be leaving us, but I'm glad you'll still be here for another year. Thank you for your patience and for sharing your expertise. I wish you the best in whatever you choose to do next. So as everyone has mentioned, this is Linda and Rob's last meeting. I will miss working with you both very much. I only had the chance to meet Bob about 8 months ago. You're sort of a legend in Parkland after spending 50 years in education and 20 on the board, so I enjoyed being able to sit next to you for the past few months. I enjoyed your sense of humor, your perspective, and your positivity. And Linda, I enjoyed working with you as well and getting to know you over the past 2 years. You are so dedicated and thoughtful. I have appreciated your valuable questions and insight, especially during the challenging times that we have all been through during the pandemic. Thank you also to Rob, Dave, and congratulations, Lisa and David for your continued dedication and commitment to the district and for being wonderful mentors to me for the past 2 years. I have a brief quote from Elizabeth Andrew. Volunteers do not necessarily have the time, they just have the heart. So I thank you all for having the heart to give up some of your time to be a valuable part of the school board.
Thank you. Ms. Manzanilla, anything else tonight?
Well, I don't really know everybody that well, but I'm just sure that everybody's doing such a great job by seeing all the differences that are happening at Parkland and everything that's going on. So I just want to thank you and everybody for their service at Parkland.
Thank you. And I'll close with saying we are going to miss you, Mr. Wold, here, and I know the IU misses you, as well as we'll miss you on the LCTI board. Your dedication there over the years is just amazing as well. I've learned so much from you over the last several years, and appreciate you stepping back up to fill in the vacancy that we have. Linda, again, everybody's said your thoughtfulness, your thoroughness, and it's always truly amazing to me everything that you put into it, your heart and soul. So thank you, and we'll miss you on the board. Brenda, thank you for giving us 8 or 10 months to replace you. We will miss you, and I'm sure we'll have some words as we get down the road. Thank you to everybody who came out tonight. Thank you for those who are listening. We do truly appreciate your comments. I know I say that every time, but I do mean it. We take everything you say into consideration, and we weigh both sides of every issue that you bring to us, and you help us to improve what we're doing here. Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Cohen, thank you for your many years of service on the board, and it was recognized tonight by PSBA as well as Mrs. Roth. Thank you very much. I appreciate all that you do. Moving on to adjournment. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Next school board meeting, Tuesday, December 7th. Organization meeting at 7, business meeting at 7:15. Committee meeting, December 13th, 5, 6, and 7. And final board meeting of the year, Tuesday, December 21st at 7. Workshops and business meeting at 8. Thank you very much. Safe going home. Have a good holiday.